How's it going, everybody? I am here with Twitch streamer Broxh. He's a New Zealand wood carver, just chatting streamer, and he became famous off of wholesome clip that appeared of him wanting to give money back after receiving a donation. Since then, he has amassed 1.3 million followers on Twitch, almost 300,000 on YouTube, and 76,000 on Twitter. He's been interviewed by Red Bull, Prime Minister of New Zealand, and he's been called the Bob Ross of wood carving. Broxh, thank you for being here.
Hey, hello, my bro.
You like that intro? That was make you feel official.
Yeah, that was pretty smooth.
Thank you, thank you. So, Broxh, you seem super chill. Again, my community loves you. I think pretty much everyone on the internet loves you. I remember the comments on my video I made about you. One guy said like, if anything happens to Broxh, we riot. And I agree. Like I was like equally just as mad. I don't know what you would do. Like I can't imagine. Um
Yeah, geez, I wouldn't even know what I would do, to be honest.
yeah. So I feel like to start the interview, we should get some icebreaker questions out of the way so you feel a little more comfortable. So let's start with your favorite video game, World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the game. I apologize,
Oh,
but
that's okay. Yeah.
but I just want to know how long have you played it? Like, what's your level? What do you like to play? Why is it your favorite game? If it is, explain it.
So, a little something about World of Warcraft for me. I've been playing the game since the Burning Crusade when it officially launched, like many years ago. But I was more of wasn't really consistent at the time. So the way I got into the whole franchise was back in primary school. We had this old jet engine laptop that no one liked to play on. They had the demo Warcraft on it, and you could only play like the mission before the actual story. And I played that. Oh, jeez. I started playing that when I was 12, right up to the time I was 16, every day at school.
Whoa, no kidding. So
Yeah, and I
was it the
carry on.
same thing over and over? Because
Yeah.
like, oh, that's dang.
Well, everyone was. I did play Counter Strike 2 as a kid, but yeah, that was probably the game that caught my attention the most. And I officially didn't start playing World of Warcraft, the game, till I was 17. And I moved away from home, and because we had no internet at the school and you can't really play WoW at school, yeah, moved to my auntie's and I got my own laptop from work, and man, I haven't looked back since.
Nice, that's amazing. And then also, what was your relationship to the person? Didn't you get a PC donated to you?
Yeah,
What was
so
that?
I've been a big fan of pandas for many years before we even had the name PandaTV. Uh, and I just constantly watched the streams and started to talk more to him and kind of developed this relationship like we were brothers. And then come Anzac Day last year, I remember this day very clearly. He said, I need you to stay on because we have a surprise. And he was running a raffle that night to win a door. I just thought that would have been funny to try and win a door from his stream. But prior to that, he asked if I wanted any merch. And I went, oh, cool. Yeah, I like your jerseys. I'd like one. And obviously got baited really hard about
Yeah.
that. And then yeah, come to the announcement on his stream that night. He goes, oh, I'm going to get you a PC. Because I showed him the laptop I was playing WoW Classic on. I couldn't really run retail, the current WoW, and yeah, and I'm streaming on it right now with you.
That's amazing. No, so since then, are you like have you made any changes to it? I know in an interview you said one of your favorite things, I think it was the Red Bull interview, you said one of your favorite things about it was
Yeah,
the cup holder. Is that still
yeah,
true?
it's actually got a Red Bull in it right now.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That no way. There it is. That's great. That's great. Go ahead and take a pull if you want. I have my caffeine here too. I have like a zero sugar thing, but I'll cheers you with caffeine.
Cheers, bro.
Fantastic. Actually, speaking of drinking, my next question was going to be, what is your favorite alcoholic beverage? What do you like to down
Uh,
after a hard day's work?
well, I hardly drink these days, mainly because yeah, I've kind of mellowed out.
Mhm.
from my younger days. I used to party every weekend. But from time to time, I just enjoy probably Guinness. Yeah, that's about it.
No
Like
way,
once in a
Guinness?
while. Yeah.
Oh, me too. Guinness is my favorite drink.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorites.
That's brilliant. Oh, I lived in Ireland for a year and I loved it. I don't know. Have you ever been to Ireland before?
I've never been off my own country. Yeah, I still have my travel journey, so yeah, hopefully I'll break it
No,
sometime.
Box, you can't do this to me because that was going to be my next question. I guess hypothetically, if you could travel anywhere in the world besides New Zealand, where would you like to go?
Uh, there's a few places I would like to go, like Ireland and Scotland are two of the places I'd love to go because I've been seeing a lot of TikToks of their scenery and falling in love with it. Eh?
Yeah.
Like, it's probably one of the main things for me is seeing the landscapes and how their ancestors used to live too. If there's anything like that overseas.
Yes, I will say from going there, the scenery and then also the people. I'd say
Yeah.
Ireland and New Zealand and Australia. I feel like those are like the three where I think of really cool people are there. Like everyone's just kind of mellow, they get along, you can have conversation. I love it. All right, so now I want to. I feel like there's a bunch of low hanging fruit we can get with this interview. Like I want to address the big things, like the big
Yep.
elephants in the room, and then from there, I've stalked your Instagram a bit, looked at your Twitter. I have some things I want maybe want to show you, and then we can get more specific into like the culture, the
Cool.
carving. So
Yes, it is.
let's talk about that clip of you that blew up, where there's like kind of like the laundry or something in the background, and then there's you,
Yeah.
dude. It's honestly there are people who have told me they cried when they watched it. Like it's a really cool moment. I'm sure you feel proud, but maybe there's something about that clip that maybe other people don't know that maybe you want to share about it. Do you have anything you want to share about that specific
Yeah,
clip?
I've told everyone this. I wish I took the washing off that day. That was one of the major things I wish I did that day. Every time I see that orange Sally, I'm like, like people have asked, can you turn it into an emote?
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
That's probably one of my only regrets about that clip is just leaving the clothes on the line. I was looking at them that day, I was like, nah, nothing happened. So I just went about my day. But
What? Oh, go.
carry on.
No, no, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, from all the kind messages that I've received about that clip, and yeah, it's really humbled me even more at how much it's made people have a different outlook and how they feel now, and I just want to try and be the best I can for them. It's one of my major things for me.
It's something I wanted to talk to you later in the interview because it was a little deeper, but we could talk about it now since we're kind of headed in that direction. So, and I kind of run into this too. Like people, I'm not tooting my own horn, but people call me like kind of wholesome, more on the wholesome side than the raunchy side. Do you feel like in your experience, like do you hold yourself to a higher standard? Are you like nervous to show certain parts of yourself? Like how do you feel like being referred to as a wholesome streamer? Like what's kind of your opinion on that in far as like
uh,
how people see you?
yeah, for me, when people acknowledge me as like Mr. Humble, wholesome person, I just say thank you. I'll never say myself that I am or that kind of person. I just leave it for everyone else to say. I'm just trying to make a good place for everyone on my stream, and that's the main thing for me.
That's perfect. I saw on your Instagram, it was on your 1 million followers post, which by the way, congrats on 1 million. That's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it without everyone. It's a contribution of everyone, not just me.
No, you totally deserve it, man. Like everything aside, like you are a really cool dude. So it makes me very happy, along with my community. I'm sure everyone else. I love seeing your success. But on that Instagram post, you said, "I remember my teacher told me straight to my face, carving and gaming will get you nowhere." Did that happen? Can you tell me about that conversation? What was going on?
So I was drawing. I wasn't really enjoying the class that day, and I just said, "Oh, I'd rather be carving than doing this because that's what I love to do." And that's when he started coming up into my face. You'll never make it in carving. That's not a real art form, and all you do is talk about gaming as well. And obviously, I may have stood up and said some bad words back, but I'm not gonna say what they were.
It's okay. You
Yeah,
know, I will for
and I,
it.
and I and I just walked out of the class and never looked back. But I see that teacher today too, and I just say hello and yeah, I'm still carving, and we have a little chuckle, and that's about it.
Oh, is there bad blood or
No,
it's
no,
not really? Okay,
he
okay.
just goes, well done. He proved me wrong. So I was like, oh, that wasn't the point.
No, that's great. How old were you when that happened? It seems a little harsh to me to be
uh,
telling people they
I
can't
was
do
around
things.
about 15. Yeah, 15.
That's rough. I would have been pretty salty too. I don't know how. So what made you want to come onto Twitch? Like, what were you doing before, and then what made you like decide to take the leap?
So I was actually, before I even thought of streaming, I was obviously watching streamers play games such as World of Warcraft. But one streamer in particular, Squared in HD is his name, who's I found out later to be my cousin through our genealogy.
Well,
Yeah,
no
just
way. Wow.
yeah, it was actually a drinking stream he was doing. Just every time someone followed or subbed, he'd just be having a good time and entertaining everyone. And that kind of ignited the flame for me a little bit. Like, this really looks like a fun thing to do in entertaining everyone.
Hmm.
And it was a really cool environment as well. So then I ventured into pushing live for the first time. Had the worst internet anyone could ever think of. I was a Fortnite Andy. Yeah, playing it in
Dang.
8-bit mode though.
But you wanted it.
And
Dude, it's like it's the dream, right? Yeah, as long as you have the passion there, I know.
yeah, and yeah, fast forward like a few months, and then I attempted a carving stream, just one of my pieces that I had lying around and had nothing else to do. And I lasted about 5 minutes, and there was only like two bots and one of my good friends who's still a mod in the chat today. And I got nervous. I was like, "No, I can't do this," and turning it off, you can see me.
Oh
Yeah.
man. It's
Yeah. But from that particular situation, most of my friends I met through streaming were pushing me to do this. Could be something specific to you, and people may enjoy it. And I did a few carving streams here and there, which probably all the minutes in total would have added together would have been 15 minutes stream time in total. Like, that's how nervous I got. I didn't like it.
wow.
Yeah. And then come to that specific art showcase that Twitch ANZ had, which is actually up again to apply for today in Twitch ANZ. I basically filled that form out just for a laugh and basically forgot about it the next day. And then fast forward like 2 weeks and I got accepted. I started getting hot. You get nervous and pulling your
Right.
collar off.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh no, I don't like
And
this
so,
attention.
back up for just a second because I want to make sure I understand. So, what was this? Was it like some kind of competition that you enter, like
Uh,
specifically for art, or?
so each month, Twitch ANZ will have like a specific showcase, whether it be art, cooking, just different categories.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
And so that's what you submitted to, and then
yeah. And then boom, you're in, and I'm like, oh no, that wasn't supposed to be the plan. Yeah.
uh,
And then on that first day, I remember when we started the showcase, we were at 800 viewers, and oh, you should have seen my back after I took my hoodie off that day. It was drenched in sweat. Like, that's how nervous I got.
wow.
And then, yeah, come to the second day, it was that clip that got taken. And obviously, being oblivious to the whole situation, I just turned the stream off, came back inside and watched movies for the night, and woke up the next day to hundreds and hundreds of notifications and Twitch stuff saying you need to jump on right now and see what's happened. I'm like, oh no, I must be in trouble.
Oh
I
man.
thought I'd done something wrong. Eh? Yeah, that was the first thing I thought.
Oh,
Like,
that's
oh,
that. I know that feeling. It's the
no.
worst. It's literally you don't even want to look because you're so nervous. Okay.
And then, yeah, I see all the clips, all the posts about the clip, and I'm like, I don't even want to stream today. I never had that much attention in my life. Uh, People wanting to see my stream in particular, and then obviously had to hard it up and push live, and we started with 10,000 views on my little Samsung Galaxy
Yeah, on the
S7
same
trying
on the same setup
to
though. So like,
yeah,
oh, that must have been. I know because as a streamer, like, and even as a YouTuber, like you do want to provide good content and you want to make sure people have a good time. So I can't imagine the pressure. But was it nice? I mean, I can't imagine anyone would have been negative. Like it was probably a lot of positive, a lot of hey, how's it
yeah,
going?
it
Like
was
saw
a
the clip.
majority of the time, and then yeah, the odd rotten tomato now and again, but they got banned straight away, so it was pretty good. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's an awesome story. Like that's how that happened. Like that whole journey. Um, Actually, I was gonna say like probably besides some extra cash in your pocket, some fame. Are there any changes like to being a bigger streamer that maybe you were surprised by? Maybe things you thought it would be that maybe it wasn't, or do you have anything to share about that your experience so far?
For me, what's changed more for myself is I've learned how to talk to a lot of people now. Like, that was something I was really hard at for me in terms of being out and about. The stream has changed a little bit too in terms of setup. I mean, we don't use those strings and two nails anymore,
Right.
but they're still up there, which I'll take with me wherever I go. If I have to move out of this place, then I'll frame it.
Yeah. What you currently use? Isn't it like you call it the chat holder 4000? Is that
Yeah. Oh, I don't even use that anymore.
you don't
So
use the chat holder? Okay, that
yeah,
was
I
like
lost it.
you. Is it
Yeah,
just? Am I incorrect in thinking it's just kind of like a block of styrofoam or something, like or
yeah. I just put
packaging?
my phone on, cut it out, and
What happened?
that'll do.
What happened to it? It's
Left it outside, and it was a windy day.
you gotta find it, man. Someone else is
Yeah.
getting famous with that thing. Like that. What if that
I
was the
might,
key to success all along? Is the chat
might see it
holder?
on eBay.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they would know. It's kind of like a small niche detail.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I remember I had my guitar stolen couple months back. I was in a rough neighborhood, and my brother texted me as he was going through it, and he was like, "Hey man, I just saw this homeless guy with a guitar on the road," and I said, "Turn around and figure out what brand that guitar is." I was like, because he also took my pants, so I was like, check his pant size, let's see if that's my guitar, and it wasn't. But I was joking. I was like, if he's homeless, he can have it. Like I don't he, and if it makes him happy. Cool, cool. Let's talk about being visited by the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Uh, how do you guys refer to her in a different way? Do you call her auntie, or is there like
yeah. So, reason why my generation calls her auntie is just out of respect for her because she's been one of the best prime ministers this country has had in terms of actually going out to see people and not staying. Just like how many other prime ministers have been, they feel like they're too good to go and visit like people in lower society and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's
no?
why we refer to her as auntie out of respect.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, I got nothing but good vibes from her. Like I mean, obviously I figured out about her from the clip of her coming to see you, but then also I was just like, wow, like for a leader, she's very personable, very casual. I was like, this is great.
Yeah,
How was that experience? Like, I can't imagine she just pulled up one day and was like, "Hey, I like." You must have been notified beforehand. Like, there must have been
yeah.
security.
Uh,
What happened for setting that up?
it all started with a phone call from one of her secretaries, and they wanted to inquire about Broxh, but they didn't know it was me. And they were talking, oh, we want to meet Broxh and we want to do this and this. And I had my little Tony Stark moment, and I'm Broxh, and they went, oh. And then
Nice.
from there they asked, oh, would you be interested in meeting the Prime Minister? And I went, oh, yeah, Auntie Jacinda. And they started laughing. So I initially thought I was getting punked. I'm like, I feel like he's pulling my leg a little bit.
Yeah. Next, they're
Why
gonna
would she
ask.
want to meet me?
Next, they're gonna ask for your credit card information.
And from that phone call, yeah, they said Google my name and you'll see that I'm the head secretary for the Prime Minister, and did that thing, and was shocked for a little bit. I'm like, oh no, what does she want to see me for? So my initial thought was, yeah, okay then. In my head, I was going, oh, whatever. And then we set the dates up, and yeah, fast forward to the actual day she was coming to visit. So what initially happened that morning, the head of security came along and they had to like scope out the neighborhood and everything
Yeah.
around it.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And yeah, they all come in with their tuxedos, and I was like, "Oh, there's a Glock!" This was the first time seeing the Glock for the first time. And yeah, the security guard, who was Maori as well, had a little chuckle and like, "You've never done this kind of stuff before?" I said, no, I put carve for a living. And
Yeah, it's not the most common. You wouldn't really see him at the grocery store, just like
yeah,
walking around. Yeah, I can't imagine.
and then obviously I started my stream like normal that day, not really telling everyone who was coming onto the stream. And then as we got into the afternoon, the head of security came in for their check before she turned up. And yeah, they're all standing out on the road, and I asked the head of security, "Do you want to have a car while we waited?" He was like, "Oh, no, 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 thank you. I might ruin it." You can't ruin it. It's all right. And then eventually he had to go, and yeah, got the head of security of New Zealand to have a carve on one of my pieces. And then eventually, yeah, the big van and the bus turned up, and yeah, she stepped out, and I started getting really nervous again. So I had to walk down and have greetings. And yeah, one flex I can say is that my daughter actually met the Prime Minister of New Zealand. And then we move on to the stream, and everyone was shocked, like they didn't expect it. And it was just like talking to one of my family members who weren't really like trying to be formal or anything. It was just laughs all around and telling the story
Hmm.
through the lockdown as well. And yeah, got the Prime Minister to dab on stream as well,
Did you?
which was
I missed that part. You actually got to. I'll have to watch that.
yeah, yeah.
That's mad. That's so cool.
So I was like, oh, if you want to, I don't really get into that, but okay.
Wow, that's class.
And yeah, she eventually had a go at carving on the piece as well. She done actually better than the security guard did. And from that moment, yeah, just talking, and she got me to do a hair flick. And the one day I didn't brush my hair. And then eventually it came to the end of the stream and she left. We were talking just out down by the driveway.
Hmm.
Had to get my photos in, had to get my photos in just
Of
to
course.
hold for memories. And yeah, she left. And that was pretty much the whole experience with the Prime Minister.
So,
And obviously carried on carving for a little bit, then ended the stream as well.
and then is that when you kind of like fully
Yeah,
relaxed once it was all done? You're like,
yeah, I was like, oh man.
that really happened. Did you frame that photo? Do you have it laying around somewhere? Did you ever print it off
Nah,
or?
I didn't frame it. I just yeah, keep them in a file. But another thing too, like later on in last year in December, she turned up again. Like
Oh,
I just finished
nice.
streaming, yeah, because I noticed these cars with all these security guys out. Because I was looking at them, I was like, "What do you want?" They're looking right at me, and I was like, "Do I have to get ready to fight or something?" And then yeah, she walked out, and I got a fright again. I was like, "What are you doing here?"
Was she happy to see you? Was she like, "Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
she
back"?
said, "I
Like,
told you I was coming back," but it was mainly to bring gifts for my daughter and my second daughter, who was just born in November last year. And I was
oh,
like, "Oh, don't I get anything? I mean, you came here to see me, not them." And she just laughed and, "No, it's for them." I was like, "Oh, okay."
so
Yeah,
you have two daughters now? Is that how?
yeah, a father of two now. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, congrats on the newly born as well. Back in
thanks,
November.
thanks.
That's so cool. Um, Actually, speaking of photos, I pulled. You'll have to go into your DMs for this, but I'll send you some photos uh, of yourself I just want to see what you have to say about them. So this first one is you. I think it's just you at your desk, and you might not even need the photo for this. Uh, but what is this thing? It's like a gold piece. It's like to your right, actually, on your desk. It's like slightly
Oh,
behind. What is that? Is that a World of Warcraft thing, or what is that?
yeah. So it's actually still there. I haven't even
Yeah,
moved it.
pull it out. You can show everyone. I saw that.
Okay.
I wanted to know what it was.
Oh, wow.
Is it heavy? I don't want to.
No, it's fine. So, oh my god.
I would feel horrible if you knock something over.
No, it's fine. So, World of Warcraft had recently, well, not recently, a while ago now, celebrated the like 15-year anniversary. And you know me, I was fiend for well loot, as you see. And this is just one of the bosses from the very first World of Warcraft.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty much. I just wanted it because it was 15-year anniversary and it looked cool. That's about it.
Hey, say no more, man. No, that's wild. That's super cool. Uh, actually, speaking of that, I have another picture from your Instagram. It's you standing by a dragon. I think you went to like I don't know if it was like a
Oh
museum
yeah.
or something, or you might have to remind me of what that place is called. But
So I went up to Auckland about 2 weeks ago. It was actually for a Red Bull event for the Global Clutch Campus tournament, and I was being a tourist that day, so I found out there was like a Weta workshop building, and I just went to have a look. So they do all the like props for Lord of the Rings, Apex Legends, and also a few other things as well. But Lord of the Rings was always their main push.
mhm.
And the dragon is Smaug from The Hobbit, and
Is that? Oh, I see it
he
now.
so it wakes up every time you walk near it. And I was like, I want a photo, and Mrs. Brock is like, oh, okay, nude.
Hey! There's no
I was
shame.
like,
Come on, Lord of the Rings slaps. Lord of the Rings
I
is
was
great.
like, hey, there's a dragon. Come
Yeah,
on.
no. Look, it's there's a problem with you if you don't like dragons. Okay, like that's the real problem. So does any other parts of that dragon move? Is it just the eyes light
Just the
up
eyes.
or okay?
Yeah. So just wakes up as if you stand near it, and then your smoke usually comes out of the nose, but not that time.
How tall are you? Because that's a big dragon. Is it
To
not?
be honest, I didn't really measure myself. Apparently, some my cousins say I'm 6 foot, or I don't know. Yeah, I
Okay,
haven't really gone out of my way to measure my height.
that's totally fine. Okay, so here's the last photo I have to share before we get back into the questions because I just feel like these are kind of fun. I don't know if these are still on your desk, but it looks like they're your pair of shoes, maybe. But it looks like there's a person or there's some kind of design on
Oh
these
yes,
shoes.
yeah.
Who is
So
that? Is that you or someone
it's
else?
one of my emotes. So obviously, people think I sound like Korg, and I'm supposed to be like the Bob Ross of our generation. And we mixed the two together to make my first emote. And that's who it is there. I actually don't have them on my table at the moment. I don't
Do
know where they
do
are actually.
say
Um,
if you want to grab
yeah,
them, you can, but it's up to you. If not,
yeah,
I have the
yeah,
picture.
I
I can
can't
just
remember
share.
where they are.
That's
But
okay.
they're on my Instagram as well. But yeah, one of my mods actually made those for me. So he actually customizes kicks for a living.
Wow,
Just Kicks
dang,
is his name. Yeah, that's what he really loves to do as well.
that's super cool. Okay, so now we get to talk about maybe the fun part for you, the carving. So you have like now I don't know if most people know this, but did you used to work for the New Zealand like tourism department or some kind of aspect?
Yeah,
I think like the Tamaki Mali village. I don't know
yep.
if that's what.
That's yeah, that's one of the tourism companies I work for. But before that was Te Puia. They house a carving school called New Zealand Māori Arts and Crafts, NZ Meki, and that's where I did my 3 years of upskilling in carving to obviously get better and learn more knowledge from the master carvers. So they've been doing this particular thing for over 50 years now, like having
Wow.
intakes from various different tribes. So they take one carver from each tribe, depending on which tribe needs them more as opposed to others, because there are many out there that still need carvers as well. Um, yeah, did my 3 years there. So obviously it was in a tourism environment, so we had to talk to the tourists as well.
Hmm.
But I was usually the guy that hid at the back and watching from the table.
That's okay. So we can actually we can back up a little bit from that if you want, just for our viewers watching, just so they kind of get the whole picture of what this is. Because I thought it was cool, and I do think it's cool how like you're involved in New Zealand culture and you like to share it, and I feel like the carving is a part of it a lot for you. Um,
Yeah.
so like obviously I think some people in your family carve, but like just tell me like did you were you self-taught? How did you learn to carve? Like how did you like feel
Okay.
like
Yeah.
you wanted to carve, and then from there like how did that bring you into the tourism and the training? Like talk about
Yeah.
the early stages, I guess.
So probably from where it all started was I was 12 years old when I was introduced to whakairo, which is Maori wood carving, and it was actually taught to me at school. So every Friday we would have a subject outside of the school curriculum, and carving was one of them. And my uncle was the teacher, and obviously I didn't know much about it, so I was curious and went into my first class. And my uncle, who still carves today, taught us about the stories before even touching the timber. And then, yeah, we got into our first project. I completed my first carving, and my uncle noticed that I had a knack for it. And he asked, "Have you been doing this before?" No, this is my first time doing this kind of work. And yeah, he basically said, "You're going to carry on doing this." And I still have my first carving today. Like my mother owns it now, and it's something I always look back at just to see where it all started in terms
Yeah,
of my
that's
journey.
crazy.
Yeah.
So is there was there anything in particular about it where he was like, "Oh yeah, you could be a carver." Like was it the design or was it the speed you did it? Like was there anything in particular?
Uh, yeah, it's basically execution because he didn't know I was into carving at all. I mean, I wasn't. I was just a kid that loved this culture, and
Hmm.
once I had these tools in my hands and did my thing, he noticed because I was quite a patient person. Like I still am today, but he wasn't expecting me to do that well. And then he goes, "Okay, you're gonna be doing this until you graduate." And yeah, I've basically been carving with my uncle till I was like 16,
Okay.
and then eventually, being older and the education at my school that I was at wasn't really good. I wasn't really feeling it anymore. And then I moved away from home at the age of 16 to another high school here in Rotorua called Rotorua Boys High School. But I did carving in particular just at home. They had a carving class there, but they worked more with artificial timber, and I didn't like that. And then so I was just
Okay.
yeah. So like MDF timber is what it's called. It's got no grain. Yeah, it's easy as to carve. And yeah, I just kept trying to get better at the designs I knew in particular. Just trying to take my time and get cleaner.
Hmm.
And eventually I turned 18 and found out about the carving school here and applied the first time. Unfortunately, I didn't get in. So,
Dang.
yeah, like a few years later, I applied. I think it was 24, I believe. So after I got denied, I kind of just went into still carving, but also doing like a trade as well. And then I applied again. And then eventually I got in and they asked, "Oh, why do you think you didn't execute your interview well last time?" I went, "Oh, you told all the students to draw a circle and you didn't tell me." So I think that was the thing. So that's something they incorporate in the interviews a lot. Draw a circle and put whatever you want in it. And there have been stories from past graduates. So one drew a bulldog and others drew like a scope for a gun. And yeah, you come to my moment, he goes, "Okay, here's your moment of truth. You got to draw that circle that you didn't get told to do last time." So I drew it and then, "Okay, put whatever you want in it." And I literally wrote anything I want. and
You just
pushed it across the. Yeah, I just wrote
I
it.
just wrote the words anything I want.
Yeah, and I pushed it over, and they looked at the paper and looked at each other and looked at me all serious, and they just started laughing, like they busted out laughing.
Oh
And I just
man.
laughed back, going, "Well, you said anything I want, so I did it."
Yeah, yeah. You're not wrong. I would have said
Yeah,
that if I was he's not wrong. He's not.
yeah. So they go, "Okay, yeah, bit of a smart guy." And
Yeah.
he ended my interview on that, and a month later, I found out I got accepted. And to this day, I still feel like it was that circle that got me in.
It's oh man, it's beautiful. It's like I always like see like those like you always see like screenshots on Google Images of like the math problems and people being total, you know, smart asses about it and just but I always appreciate that. I never thought of that when I was in school. So the fact you did, I do feel like unique personality. And if you get them, I feel like if you get anyone to laugh, it's kind of a win. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome you got in.
And then yeah, did my 3 years at the school. So it's a 3 year apprenticeship. They actually pay you to learn. So the first year is probably your most difficult year, where you learn how to execute like 3-dimensional carvings. So working from all angles of the timber.
Hmm.
And the second year would probably be your most important one, where you learn every single tribal style in New Zealand, and what particular designs they use as well. So it's
How many
learning.
are there?
From what's been recorded, over 8, but there are more being discovered today because of the unearthing of the swamps and new developments happening in finding these new styles.
Do you have like do you have you specialized in a certain style or does you
No,
not
I
really
just
stick to one?
do them all. Just so the idea behind learning every single tribal style is, if any tribe within the country rings needing help, you're confident enough knowing that style, instead of going, okay, I'm going to carve my tribal design in your land, and yeah, that can be quite offensive as well, because those two tribes may have had wars with each other.
That is interesting. Wait, do you want to talk more about that? Wait, so that sounds kind of like special forces of like wood carving. So other people are calling you and they need help with carving. What would they need help
Yeah.
with? Like what happened?
So in particular would be like, if people from other tribes rang in order for me to help them in terms of tribal style, probably like a direction where they can go, or they're stuck with how the particular mold is done or executed. That's
Hmm.
one of the main things.
Nice, nice. Um, so for the creation process, do you like how does it work for a particular piece? Like, do you do rough sketches on paper and then you go to
Yeah,
wood? Um, how
yeah. It
does
all depends. So depends on what kind of timber I have and what I want to work on. So two of the pieces I've done on stream was more revision, just so I wouldn't lose it. Because if you take long periods of time of carving it, it does become difficult. It's been done said by many different carvers.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just more revision for myself, having fun, and just so it keeps the style fresh within my mind and the muscle memory as well.
Would you say like out of the process, I don't know if you can, you've probably been asked it before, like, but is there a particular part where like it's the most crucial part or it's like the hardest part to carving? Like, um, and you could say the whole process, unless there is something in
Yeah,
particular where
yeah.
like if you mess it up, it's like, you almost got to restart. So like,
I'd
is
say, yeah, probably the whole process. Mistakes don't really matter in carving, because you can adjust it to be incorporated into the carving. Like a great master carver, John Type, said, we don't make mistakes, we make adjustments.
yep,
And
that
that's been something that every carver carries with them. Yeah. And yeah, I still carry it with myself every day. I incorporate it into my carvings too. And the only ones that will notice these mistakes are other carvers.
hmm.
Like, I've done it live and no one's caught it, and I'm like, "Did you see what I did?" And you're like, "No." Like, there, that's the mistake there. They're like, "Oh, I can't unsee that now." I was like, "Oh well, just showing you."
Man, you can't you was it's like a magician never reveals his secrets. Like a carver
Yeah, kind of
doesn't need to reveal his many mistakes, but if you carve into it, it's fine. I see I pop into your streams every now and then. Who do you now just carve for other people? Like what are you where
yeah.
are most of your carvings going? And also have you done it for like anyone really famous before? Like has anyone kind of
Uh,
bigger asked for a carving from Broxh?
so the person is probably famous. I actually gave one to the Prime Minister. So the second time she came to my house to give the gifts, I just did something in return and gave her a carving of my own for free. I can't not give you anything because you're giving gifts to my children. Is the way we are.
That's
So she's
great.
probably the most famous one with a piece of mine, and I've almost finished a commission piece on stream that's actually for a viewer who's been there for a long time. So it's doing it commission style. So I'll take five at a time and then send them out of the country, and then take on another five, and yeah, it's all paid work too.
That's that no, that's fantastic. That's probably just like such a good feeling to have like worked at something for so long and it's like you're getting
Yeah.
paid to do what you love to do. Like
And one cool thing about it too is they're actually seeing their piece being brought to life, like being carved, every process done.
yeah, no, that would be so cool. I know there's another I don't know if you watch him and I don't even know his name, but there's another Twitch streamer who like builds gaming keyboards for other streamers and he like
I've seen a few, yeah.
but I think that I guess it's the same thing. Like I do think that's cool. That's like they're filming themselves make the process because as the buyer, like to be able to see it. So if I got like
Mm.
some carving from you and then I got to watch you as you were building it, like
Yeah, they'll see it basically step by step being made.
no, that's wild. Uh, I also saw, and we could talk about this if you want. We could hop to another topic, but I just thought it was a cool comment you made in the Red Bull interview. You said something about how you don't cut down trees, you wait for them
Yeah,
to
yeah.
fall. Is that true for all New Zealand or is
Mainly for our people, well, it's actually a law. So if you get caught cutting one down, it's a really hefty fine as well.
wow.
But for our people, yeah, you don't necessarily cut down trees willy nilly, especially native timber, for a project that may not be for an important event. So if it's for something pivotal, like for history, like that's happened, and it's a piece to acknowledge that, that's when we would obviously pray to our God of the forest, Tane Mahuta, for this offering and saying thank you, and then you can cut the tree down. But if you're just going to cut it down just because you better hope you don't get caught because that's a big fine.
Dang. Like how
Yeah.
much of a fine is it? Can you say?
Over 40,000, I believe, is the fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that like and I have another friend from New Zealand who not only wants me to ask you a question in this particular interview, and we'll get to that after this, but is like the love of nature, like care for the environment, is that something that like most New Zealanders can I call you Kiwis? Is that okay? Is that's not offensive,
Yeah,
is it?
that's all
Okay.
right.
Um,
That's all right.
is that something like most of you guys are taught with in school or by your family? Like where's the influence for
Yeah.
that kind of come from?
So for my upbringing in particular, yeah, was taught in school. Like we learned how to
Mhm.
work with nature, and obviously what nature provides, we can use it obviously to feed ourselves as well, like gathering wild food, or as we call it. And yeah, just trying to protect the natural beauty that our country has instead of an ugly pine tree, I would say, yeah, as opposed to the native trees that we have. Yeah.
Nice. No, that's super cool. All right, here's a question from my friend. I'll shout out her. Her name's Sammy. She's also another YouTuber from New
Oh,
Zealand.
okay.
And she said, "Ask him, have you ever popped a Manu?"
Ah, money, yeah. So
And what
I
does that
actually did it.
mean? Because I don't know
So
what.
it's a particular, so we call it bombing in the water and just making a big splash. That's about it.
Okay, do you have any stories from
Well,
that?
I was not very good at it. That's about as far as I can go.
Okay. I didn't know if you're gonna have like, any local records or any bragging
Yeah,
rights
no,
about
no,
that.
no. I don't join the competitions for those because I know how trash I am at them.
Man, okay, okay. Now she wanted me to ask that. And then, so what about, I mean, I feel like I have to ask this because you're from New Zealand, but have you played rugby? Do you like to play rugby? Do you just like to
Yeah,
watch?
I grew up playing rugby just like
Mhm.
majority of the kids have.
Yep.
I enjoy watching rugby as well, and yeah. So if I had carried on playing rugby, I've had this thought many times throughout my life. I probably could have made the All Blacks or a Super Rugby team.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like I always think, man, if I carried on playing rugby, but yeah, I just said I'm okay with that. I'm a karma. I don't mind.
I don't know how New Zealand views Twitch streamers, but you don't think you could maybe like ask for like a guest appearance in a game or something? Maybe I don't know if you're kind of out of practice or what your position was, but I don't know if you've ever
No,
considered
I
that.
was just a prop in the game just because I always ran forward. That's about it. Didn't
Man,
really like be a chicken and run up and down the field. It was always straight.
I yeah, you definitely have a little more meat than me. I was definitely a skinny kid growing up in school, but I remember my first football game. I was on special teams and the kickoff was coming and I caught the ball after like 4 months of training and I just walked off the field and I walked into the parking lot and I went to my dad and I said, "This isn't for me." I was like, "There's people
Fair
die in
enough.
this game. I think I was meant to be someone who makes videos or does something creative. I don't I don't want to do this." Uh, so we're kind of getting closer to the end of this interview, but I also want to talk about something else. Maybe other people don't know, but I feel like you said you do sing opera or you have some kind of opera
Uh,
experience. Is that true?
yeah, so I have sung opera before, so I'm a baritone bass. So I used to be in music academy a few years ago, actually, and I met up with a few of my music academy friends last night, who I haven't met in 5 years. And yeah, I did many like shows as well. So actually, we did our own Lion King,
No way.
yeah, we did our own Lion King show, and I got to play Mufasa, and I didn't even know I had that kind of voice. So
That's
we were,
that's
yeah, we were
great.
all practicing one day, and I just sang the song as a laugh, and then the opera teacher turned around and, who was that? I went, oh, it was me, sorry. Okay, come here, you're gonna sing this right here, and then found out, yeah, I could sing opera naturally, and it's something I've been doing for a long time as well because I used to work in the Maori performing arts side of tourism as well, doing that for tourists and also getting paid for it. And yeah, just the amount of senior people that heard me sing and oh my god, I was like, oh man, what about the young people?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's something I still do today, just singing to my kids. But other than that, I haven't done any shows quite like that in a long time.
Okay. And I'm assuming your chat knows, like have you've done a few
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
sung a couple
so
times on stream?
yeah, and then yeah, they didn't know as well. I was like, oh, I don't really like to tell anyone, but I just do it for fun.
So let's see. What? So we can just end with some easy questions about Twitch. But like, if you could give advice to someone who maybe wants to start a Twitch channel or even a YouTube channel, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
Uh, some advice I would say is just do it for fun and do stream or YouTube something that you absolutely love to do. Doesn't matter if it's knitting or even tree felling. No matter what you love to do, I would say that can be something that you have up your sleeve to show everyone that wants to watch.
Hmm. No, that's perfect. That's along the lines of what I tell people too. And then for yourself, like you were a little nervous, obviously, for like that stream way back in the day, and now you're like fine, you're just totally comfortable, you're just super casual.
Yeah.
Would you say anything to people? Because I've helped a couple people. I make VR chat videos telling people like with social anxiety, like how to talk to others. Like, was
Yeah.
there something, I don't know if it was like a single thought or like something you reminded yourself, but like how did you eventually like? When was the click moment where all of a sudden you were like, I can do this. I can talk to people. Like it's fine. Like you're not as nervous anymore. Did it happen over time, or was it a moment or a thought? What would you say about
Uh,
that?
I would probably say after that first whole initial week of, or well, the first month, I would say, after the hype of the internet had hit my channel, and I started to realize that yeah, I am quite comfortable with talking with people now, and yeah, it's become quite easy because I used to have like social anxiety too. I did not like talking to anyone, and now I'm meeting people who actually tune in. I'm yeah, talking like how we are now, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's definitely something helpful that I've learned and developed too.
Awesome, man.
Because yeah, I was probably the most top tier shoegazer you ever find. If I had met you like this without the streaming thing, I'd probably oh okay.
No, 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 man. This has been awesome. Well, that's all the questions I had for you, Brox. Man, thank you
Oh,
so
no,
much for letting me interview. I can't believe you said yes. I messaged you on Instagram, and I was like,
it's
there,
alright. Yeah.
and I sent you that whole
Because
message,
yeah, I
and
remember the whole year from YouTube. I was like, hey, I know that guy.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
said, yeah, let's do it.
that's awesome. No, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to say, or if you want to plug something, or say maybe future plans, or if you have an event going on, now's the time. You could say whatever
Uh,
you want.
Not necessarily. So I'm obviously going to carry on streaming, but I've finally decided to make merch. That's probably the big thing for me coming
Nice,
through. Yeah,
nice.
and I have a big project that's about to start. I'm just waiting for them to find the funding, and yeah, so you'll see me. I'll try and focus more on my projects to show the process as well. But
Mhm.
obviously, I've got to talk to chat too. So
That's
yeah,
great.
follow Sweeney.
Thank you, Brox.
That's
Thanks for
what I
the
say.
shout out.
Follow Sweeney on all the all the socials.
I'm Brox approved. That's awesome, man. Maybe someday when quarantine's over, we can grab a Guinness because that would be class.
Yeah,
That's
sounds good,
it's
bro. Sounds good.
all right. Sweet. Bye, everybody.